So, good evening everybody. I hope everything is working. Welcome to the release of TORCS 139. Let's first recap what has done in this release. The biggest part was the 46-bit Windows port, so this was quite a bit of tedious and boring work, but it's finally done. There are still some compile warnings remaining if you build it yourself from source. There are still 33 warnings, but I thought I pulled the trigger now because it's nothing dangerous or so, and fix them then for the next release. Apart from that, there are just a few fixes, and the 150 DTM card has been completely rebuilt. This was also already in the preview from the last time. I think in October I did another stream where I already presented that. So, and today the plan is basically just to give it a spin. I did forever not the thing which is called challenge race here. I think this is this here. So I will probably do one of those, and then we can see where we go from there. Hi Oris, welcome to the stream. So then let me first check if everything is working. Yeah, it looks like it's alive. I can close that. Good. Yeah, then let's go and have a look at the car quickly. I select it here for my player. So, basically, this is that one. Beforehand it was a very crude model with no interior and everything, and the performance data was not adjusted to the real thing. I think now it should... Oh, great, cool. Thank you for the feedback. And I think now it fits pretty well with the real thing, but we will see. It has around 490 horsepower. This is kind of the 1996 edition, maybe with a bit mixed in from 1995. So it has a 50-50 mass distribution, 490 horsepower, and what else is to say? I think without fuel it was 1,040 kilograms, because in the class back then the rear-wheel driven cars had a lower limit of 1,000, and the four-wheel driven cars had 1,040, if I remember correctly. Yeah, that's basically to that. Yeah, and then just let's start and have some fun. First, I want to set up the race and see what target laps I need to have a chance. Basically, I decided I will do some kind of multi-class race again with Car 1 TRB3s. Myself with the Alfa Romeo, which is weaker than the Car 1 TRB, the TRB1 cars, and a bunch of TRB1 cars. So I will take me out here and quickly run the qualifying to see what lap time I approximately need, because I have no specific setup for the car yet. 126. Okie dokie. Basically something around 127 would be pretty cool. I don't actually know if I even have a chance, because the race is in this mode I think 150 kilometers. A lap is 4.2 or so on that track, right? Let's see. 4.3, 150, 40. I guess in the ballpark of 40 laps. And I don't know if I will need a pit stop because of tire wear or not. If I need a pit stop of tire wear, the pit stops are pretty long per default for these cars because they have not Formula One teams. They have basically usually one or two dudes with I don't know how it's called in English, the thing which you loosen and tighten the nut of the wheel. So they have to manage two wheels, and this takes some time, so it is set per default to 16 seconds only for the tire change, so we will see. So if I have to do a pit stop because of that, I will lose a lot of time, and I will also do a lot of mistakes, I guess, but we will see. So then let's first do a basic setup to see if we can manage to get in the ballpark of that lap times. Yeah, 20 laps, that's fine. Yeah, and that's the car, by the way. Philip Körper reworked that. That's a friend of mine. Thank you for that again. I really like it. What is really cool, he is actually a professional game vehicle artist. He did for the interior also, as you see, rendered in Blender an occlusion map so that the lighting looks more realistic, although it is actually not there. So, pretty nice job. So, then let's first just warm the tires up and see what we can do in regards of the setup to make that thing fast. By the way, as you see, I did not find the time to adopt the tachometer for this. Not yet. Oh, let's heat up the front tires here. So at least with cold tires I have heavy understeering. was close. So I'm far away, but the tires are not very hot yet. So top speed is just around 234. Lap time is 129, around that. So I need to find somehow 1.5 seconds or so. And the class has tire wear, the bots don't have. It's dependent on the skill level. If you set the bots to pro, then they have tire wear. But they are not yet smart enough to handle it. That's the reason why it's not enabled. But in the championship in 2017, 19 and 19, in the TRP championship, basically we had it enabled back then. I have the speed limiter somehow set up. Hold on. Yeah, here. So I want to keep the tires because then I don't need to warm it up again. So, oh, okay, we can do a lot here. This track is pretty flat, so we can go as much down as we can with the ride height. What is going here? 60 seems to be the limit. Maybe don't let's be too aggressive to start with, otherwise it might be completely undrivable. Then I have understeers, so I want to have a bit rake. Oops. Let's start with 75 here. What else? That looks okay. Toe, not yet. Caster. Yeah, I could go here a bit more. Then springs are just normal. Packers. No, all cars have tire wear. Basically, if you go in the code of wheel CPP, you see it there. Only Pro mode has tire wear. This is basically to unload human players which just play rookie or so, that they are not bothered with it. So that's not for discussion. That looks good. Fast bump. looks normal too. Rebound looks also normal. That also. So, but I said I drive here not so fast because there are no long strengths and nothing. So I think the maximum brake pressure I need is actually smaller because I'm not so fast, so the tire lock up because I don't have so much downforce. Let's go here with something less. Then the rear anti-roll bar is already stronger. I had some body roll. Yeah, let's try 200 here. Oops. Hey. So spring, I lift that. And I could then change at some point the diff. So steer lock, that's looked fine. I had also high speed understeer, right? So let's add here a bit and remove here a bit. And save that. So let's see. Oh, I changed the tires. That's the reason why it took so long. Okay. That was stupid. See, how embarrassing. so the rear is now much closer in a good way. So, let's do a bit more adjustments. So, no tire change this time. So, I think we can get lower here. And maybe something like that. And in slow turns, the front is still a bit understeery. Maybe I could reduce that a bit more. Yes, let's go. So let's try to do a reference lap. So I have to be more careful with the curves now with the lower ride height. So, let's do some adjustments. So, I never know which the direction is the right with the diff. Do I need a higher or a lower number? Yeah, let's just try. Because as you might have recognized, I was never in the 6th gear. So, what else? I think the braking balance could be by default now a bit more to the front. I think it was pretty much fishtailing when under braking. No, tire change none. Yeah. Let's go. So let's see. Okay, it's around 28 now. Oopsie. So, and I need another lap to find out how much fuel I consume. So, where are we? 48.8. $46.2, 48.8, 2.6 per lap. Yo, I think it's a bit hard to say. Maybe I will just need a pit stop because of that. What is the tire wear doing? 22%, 15 laps. 30, this would then be around 50 for the fronts, or 56. Yeah, they might go down up to 70 or 80%. Yeah, I might need a pit stop. Okay, let's do the race. So, challenge race, was this alright? Add me again. So, let's see. If we manage to beat at least 1 or 2 TRB1 cars, or if we have no chance. Quickly checking the health of the stream. It means everything's fine. Good. So, then let's go. These are my 3 qualifying laps now. So my problem is that I start off cold tires, so I will just need the first 2 laps to get a bit temperature in it. Oopsie. Too much. No. Screw it. Okay. So, okay, let's see. It descends. Ouch. Why is the race just 12 laps? Is this a two-phase thing? Does it have a qualification race? Okay. I see. Not remember that. self-inflicted chaos so far. Tires are still cold. Did I just clock in the identical lap time? Funny. Ah, are we already overlapping? So, 1.99 behind the next. Yeah, we will see. Yeah, I accumulated way too much damage. So So, how does it look like? Par 2.5 seconds off the leader. Okay, but I think there is now a second race, right? Yes. TRB1. Okay, this was just a qualification for the second grid. Okay. So basically I start more or less in the same place like the first time. Yeah, let's see how this goes. First I have to take care that in the first laps I be more careful and not that greedy. That was the trouble at the beginning. I was not patient enough to warm up my tires properly. And I also have to take into account the speed differential between the BTs at some points when they are really slow. So, let's go. Oopsie. That was now more bad luck than anything. Tires are still cold. Oh, this will give penalty like stupid. $42 laps, okay. What did I say? I need 2.6 liters per lap and I have 80. So I need a pit stop at some point. Oh. degrees. There must have been a heavy accident because there are 3 guys in the pits. Oh, do I even have a pit? Can pit, yeah, probably. Ah, yeah. This player potato. Okay. Good. Pull what the pile up. Tires are pretty good now. Oof, ouch. That hurt. 37 seconds back. How tired we're doing, 28%, 11 laps. Oh. pass. So 12 seconds to the next guy. Quite a bit of damage, but otherwise everything looks good. So 1/3 of the race is through. Guy in front is a real opponent. Oh, -2.7. The good news is there's also a huge gap behind me. So my 20 seconds penalty will not completely kill me. Uh-oh. So, chat, in which lap should I go to pits? Should I go on lap 21 or later if the condition is still good and ride it out a bit? For fuel, there's no question. I will need fuel, yes. Not a lot, but I will not come through. Is this overlapping? Oh, okay, that was a misunderstanding of me then, I guess. Tires are doing good currently. Tires are brilliant at the moment. And I think I don't have much traffic ahead in the moment. Okay, I will try my best. Yeah, I have that pesky 18 seconds penalty. And the tire change will take 16 seconds without refueling. And I think the front left tire, that thing must go. There's no way to race with that to the end, I guess. It's actually quite interesting, the balance between right and left on that track. Front left is 54 and front right is 41. Crazy. Oh, this guy is stuck. Yeah, I have a lot of clean air currently, that's great. Oh, 22 seconds, gap to the next. But good news is behind is also 32 or so. "42 seconds, okay, that's great." Guy behind. and liters. $21 divided by 2.6, maybe 7 or 8 laps. 24, so around lap 31, okay. Tire temperatures are okay. That was close. Is the guy still here? So the front is now cooling a bit. Put the brake bias 1% to the rear. Let's see if that helps. Ooh, this turn is pretty ugly. Let's put it back a bit. Moments. 12 liters. So 4 or 5 more laps. How much will I need to refuel? 11 times 2.6. Around 30 liters. Okay. A bit less. Hello, welcome to the stream. So 6.7 liters left, front left is 80% worn. What's going on here? So, max 2 laps to the pit stop, I guess. Yeah, I know. I have to stop next lap or so. By the way, what we are doing here is a multi-class race, kind of. That's why I'm able to easily overtake these guys. Yeah, I will do another lap. The tires are pretty cold now, because they are pretty warm. .9, so now I have to pit. Oh, that doesn't help. So, now fuel amount remaining laps. I think we come through with let's take 29, repair amount, everything, and tire change all. So we will start off with cold tires again. That will be tedious. Thing I found funny. So, yeah, let's go. Fuel 0.1. Oh, I will come out in the middle of traffic. Yikes. I have a penalty to serve of around 18 seconds and 16 seconds tire change time plus damage plus refueling. So this will take a while. Cold tires. tires are so pretty cold. Ah, ouch. So, brake bias to neutral. Going. So let's see if I can get third. Point one back, tires are okay now. Plus 2.8. went out, lost a second. No, 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 no. Putting brake balance again a bit to the rear. Four laps to go. This is an overlap here. .9 back. Hall plus 14. Fuel looks good. Does it though? Oh, maybe it won't be. It could be actually not be enough. Yeah, let's short shift a bit. .6, 5.2. Yeah, I think it's just not enough. .3. Oh, okay, I have to get some 0.2 liters of fuel, I have to say. Ah, okay. Ah, I was wrong. Okay. I thought it's one lap more, sorry. Ah, because I did not consider that I'm one lap behind. Okay. Now it makes sense. Yeah, I'm good. So. Yeah, from the start position and the qualifying, I think fourth is pretty okay. And the fastest lap was not too bad, too, on 26.51. So, let's see. Okay, this guy did 2 pit stops. Ah, the website should actually render. It's not fancier, so it's just a changelog currently and 2 links, but it should be there. The old content management system does not work anymore, of course, because this was with old PHP and stuff, and I did not bother to migrate it. I think I will go with static content to avoid the whole hassle. So, that was actually good fun, at least for me. What time do we have? 22, what else could we do? We could do the same, but just watching to relax. Yeah, let's run race here. Just for fun. Yeah, I take myself out. By the way, for the listeners, I created a Discord channel. If you want, the link is in the video description. You can join there. I have not much an idea of the whole thing. I just set it up initially this afternoon. So if you want to join, you can join there, and then let's see where it goes over time. Did I choose the director's view? No. Oh, that's a big pile up. This guy is definitively stuck. Oh, that with TRB, that's super stupid. Basically, my provider did not tell me that my domain was up, and then somebody else grabbed it. So yeah. But if somebody would have interest in restarting TRB and this kind of races, we can talk about it and set it up again, of course. It's just during Corona there was not much interest and nobody asked for it, so I did not restart it. But we can do that anytime. Wild. Yeah, this was stupid. I had for around, I don't know, 15 years the same provider for my website, the hosting service. And they basically sold their business, and there was some administrative chaos, and yeah, they just forgot to notify me. Yeah, basically it would be easy to fix, but I never bothered. What's currently interesting, I don't know if you are in AI and stuff, if you check out TORCS now from the repository, I put there also an agent's MD file and some skills. So basically, if you install OpenCode, this is totally easy. Go to OpenCode AI, install it, and you have a subscription like ChatGPT Plus or GitHub Copilot or whatever. Then you can link that as a LLM, and then it can support you with coding or exploring the code base. And on some stuff it works actually pretty good, and on some stuff it's absolutely terrible, but it's worth a try. For example, I did implement some unit tests to try it, and for the scaffolding and stuff it was really useful. You do. You have to review it, of course. And basically, as I said, they just partially work good. There are also stuff which I tried which did totally not work out. For example, I tried a little refactoring at some place where some code was mixed with plus and minus. And I did that before, maybe, was this for 138 a year ago or so, and then I tried on the old branch or on the old commit if ChatGPT can do it too, and it was absolutely terrible at it. It did not manage to basically collect the expression and to see how to set the signs correctly and stuff. So I was actually not faster with using it than just doing it by hand. So it depends quite a lot. But in the sum, I would say also in my professional work, it saves me a bit time, all in all. But not what the hype suggests, 10 times faster and stuff. Not now. Yeah, basically I had an idea for a live stream, maybe next week or in 2 weeks or so, when I find the time. The funny thing on TORCS is we have this track-gen toolchain to create tracks, so we have a textual description of tracks, and maybe I don't know if you have to look in the repository. For fun, I created 2 skills, but I did not try them yet. And I want to try them maybe in the context of a live stream to see if we can generate the track with the AI together without using track editor or editing the XML manually, just for fun. But this could be total fail or total success. I don't know yet. We will see. Yeah, the copyright stuff is a huge issue with those things. But basically, if you think what's derivative work, for example, if these things are trained on GPL code or so, yeah, that's not so brilliant, I would say. Or if you take a GPL code base and would translate it with an LLM into a new implementation, for example, you say take TORCS and say, hey, translate it to Java or Rust or whatever, and then claim that it's not derivative work because an LLM did it or so. Yeah, fun stuff. We'll see. Yeah, the thing is with the track closing, in the skill I wrote, I said it should run trackgen, and trackgen does output basically the delta x, y, and z, and maybe it could derive from that what it has to do, but we will see. Will be a fun little experiment. I wonder what will come out. And it also depends very on the model. In my commercial environment, I have GitHub Copilot. Personally, I have a ChatGPT. And basically, I did once, maybe, was it 5 or 6 weeks ago, an experiment where I tried to generate glossary for accounting terms in the system we built. There are certain things we do which are not standard like accounting, but somehow special, automated with a lot of magic. And then because we have no glossary and I wanted to describe this 40 or 50 terms, I asked Claude Opus to do it in open code, so it could look at the code of agents and stuff. And this worked actually really good, to be honest. So it's a bit hit and miss. Sometimes it's like utter magic, and sometimes it's just laughable. So. 75 XP, is there something in the chat? I don't know, this is maybe the participation. I'm not the YouTube specialist, so I don't know. I don't also not know what that with the crown and stuff means. What is also pretty cool, by the way, IBM does an initiative where they use TORCS for learnings in schools and stuff, and they do also, I think, start a competition between universities, if I understood it right. With the SCR patch. I don't know if you know that thing. That was a patch which was created by an Italian university, maybe in 2010, 11 or so. Basically, it has a robot which provides a network interface, and then you can connect with your a client in whatever language to it and implement the robot in your language. And there are Java bindings, C++ bindings. I think I even found Haskell bindings on the internet, and Python is there anyway. And basically what they provide then is kind of set of sensors which they extract from the data, so it has not the full data like the robots which are embedded in TORCS itself. It's pretty cool actually. Couple. Yeah, with IBM, why not? I actually wrote, I'm pretty old, just as you know, I was born in 1971. That's the reason why I can be with TORCS since almost 30 years. And my brother, he is even older than me, or one of my brothers, and basically he did, in the beginning of his career, a lot of programming in COBOL. He showed me at some point some listings, so I just read a bit of some code and get a bit explained, but I never wrote it. It's crazy if you think about it. TORCS gets 30 next year. Started 1997. Crazy. What I've seen recently, what is also interesting, there's this very nice fork of TORCS Speed Dreams, which is a bit more gamey and has more content and is more trimmed as a game with nicer menus and stuff. And I think there's now even a fork from Speed Dreams from one of the Speed Dreams founders, from Xavier or so is his name, which wants to implement kind of a story mode or bring it in the direction of like the GT games with where you can, for example, add a turbo or some tuning parts and stuff, if I understood it right. So this might be interesting to check out for you guys too. Yeah, I like the look actually too. For example, what was the engine which I implemented on Speed Dreams? I really can't stand the sky and the clouds. It looks so much worse than the simple skybox from TORCS or from the old graphics engine. It's pretty terrible, I think. But on the other hand, they have much nicer menus and nicer HUDs and stuff, and a lot of content and textures and stuff. But the good thing is you can have both, so and enjoy the best parts of it, right? Yeah, I think that there must be some. I did not follow it, or I did not see how it happened. I just was Googling recently and found his webpage where he described a bit the history of it. But I did not read the forums or some stuff. I have no idea. I want it all and I want it now. Yeah, I get the idea too, but I back in the days I said always, hey, if you want GT5 or if you want Forza Motorsport, just to go to the shop and buy it. What's the point? So my idea was never to create a clone from that. And I actually have Forza Motorsport. I play it here and then. More than 1,000 for TORCS and speed dreams and stuff. I have around 300, so you beat me by 3.5 times or so. Oh, wow, okay. Ah, okay. So you create a lot of tracks. It depends. I mean, if you have a good time and it's fun, then it's good, right? How do you create it? Do you use the Java track editor, or do you have another secret source? Oh, okay. But which tool do you use? The normal track editor? Ah, yeah, you said yeah, so I think it's with the track editor. You did not write a secret tool which you did not share or something. Because since the TRB days, I'm thinking about the track generator. I don't know if you have ever played GT5 back in the days. This had the track generator where you could basically say, hey, I want so and so much sections of the track, and you could choose each segment how crazy it should be, from harmless to total crazy. And then you could say, hey, it's in the Toscana or in the Nuremberg or whatever. There were 3 or 4 or 5 themes, and then you could say generate, and then you would end up with a pretty nice track. I like that a lot. And I find time at some point I will do something like that for TORCS. And I think there's an algorithm in, how was it? In RARS. RARS was the spiritual success predecessor of TORCS. I don't know if you ever heard that. The Robot Auto Racing Simulator? I don't know. RARS is it called. That's basically the thing which inspired Eric and Christoph to write TORCS initially. And I think they had a track generator to generate track layouts. I have to get that Stone Age zip, which is more than 30 years old, and see how they did that. Yeah, so what else? Let's put together another race torch. What could we do? I did not run that for quite some time. Let's do that. That's also a thing which we could do in the human player, that we have kind of player assists like steer or throttle and brake assists like other games have. Hey, I'm searching the open wheel cars. Where did I put those? Ah, here. I thought they had more. Okay. That's odd. Thank you. Okay. And what else? Not too much speed delta. So. By the way, if you create tracks, you said you finished 2 or 3. Did you also render shadow maps for them, and how did you do it? Because back in the days, I used Povray for that, but you use probably Blender, I guess, right? Hmm. Could you not just render a trajectory like Bernie W or the other bots and use the keyboard input as a delta to offset the left or right instead of taking it as steering input like fly-by-wire or so? Let's see if the F10 camera works. Yeah, it does. This was a funny one on the Windows version because FreeGLot has a problem with the F10 key. Or let's put it that way. Windows has it predefined and FreeGLot doesn't want to change the definition. But luckily there was a patch in the forum which they did not apply, which I then used. Oh, there's a mega pile up. Ah, okay. Now I understand, I think. So you don't steer at all by hand, right? As I understood it, you do a robot which drives as a robot without keyboard, right? It just behaves like keyboard. It gives just a steer input, for example, -1, 1 or 0, right? It has no intermediate values. I was not sure if you want to make a human driver, which is kind of an assist, or if you want to do a pure robot, which just has this discrete output values. Because what you also have to consider in the steer code, if you look in steer CPP and SimuV2 or so, there is some delay inside. You cannot sling around the steering wheel in 0 seconds or so. Basically, I put it quite high so you can turn it 360 degrees in 1 second or so. But there's some delay inside then, which does automatic smoothing a bit. Okay, I see. Yeah, that looks like this because usually the steering angle is just 15 or 21 degrees, and if you have 360 degrees per second, this is less than a tenth of a second. So for small input, it's almost instantaneous, yes. If not set up otherwise, you can configure that. I think it's a parameter in the car XML. I see. Yes. One day I have to take care of that skid mark flickering. A lift and coast, I think, at least with the Bernie W bots or similar things, should be pretty chill to implement. Because they basically pre-calculate the trajectories with the speeds, and if the speed goes down instead of braking, you just lift earlier. The interesting point would be in which turns, or what do you want to achieve with it to save fuel basically? Where do you lift to lose as fuel lap time as possible? And how much do you lift? But maybe you mean that. But just the basic implementation of lift and coast should be pretty trivial, but do it in the right spots with minimizing the lost time. This is harder, I guess. Oh, we ran out of fuel on lap before the end. Yeah, that was a fail in my former manual race. By the way, I did not realize that I was one lap back and I started to save fuel. Oh my. Yeah, in some racing simulations, it's absolutely massive. If you just lift the accelerator, how much load shift this does to the front. It's crazy on some cars. Also together with the engine braking. So, oops. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's basically one of the reasons why the Bernie W-derived bots have this pulsing brake behavior, because basically they brake too much because they do not consider stuff like engine braking correctly and a few other factors. So they basically apply too much brake, and then they slow down too fast, and then basically they meet the target to reach the target speed, and they lift again. That's why they are flickering this way. Let's see. For example, yeah. And there it goes. This is this flicker. This is basically caused by neglecting some stuff and being too pessimistic. But I have a good apology for that. Basically, this was back in the time where we did not have the processing power like we have today. So there was a lot of compromise to make it even possible to run 20 or 40 robots at once on a single few megahertz processor or so. Not a few megahertz, but when I started with it, maybe the fast processor I had was 400 megahertz or so. And just one core, of course. Crazy times. Let's quickly check if the lighting here still works. I guess so. Yeah. Yeah, but I think robot development in TORCS is a bit epic, because I just can tell you, like it was for me, basically, you think about something and have a certain expectation what will happen, and in a few occasions this is the case, but in some occasions it's totally crazy and unexpected, so it's really good fun. Okay, this is good. Let's check how this flies. Ouch. That was pretty elegant. Which one do you mean? Did you find it in Bernie W or in BT or? Yeah, I think if it's the thing which I implemented back in the day, then this was just a tuning variable to adjust for the magic which the model in the bot did not consider by itself. Oh, okay, yeah. But basically, if you want to do a more sophisticated solution, you can basically run a kind of a copy of the tire model in the bot and get the exact values if you want. You could do something like that. But when I started with robot development, I did not know the code base of TORCS as well as I do today, basically. So I just added that factor. And I thought it's also easier to just tune that than to explain the model behind it, or to replicate that. No worries, as long as it is fun. This good? No? I mean, the robots in TORCS are also not perfect, but I think it's, for example, that the BTs are in the TORCS distribution. I think this is also a bit of the fun of it now. I mean, for example, if you watch real GT3 races, I would say these drivers are also not perfect. Or many of them. Let me quickly check if the split screen is still working. Yes, it is. Can I also still camera perspectives? Yeah, I think that's part of the fun. But it is also a bit of a pain. For example, I think about implementing things like blue flags and pace car and such stuff. And if you do that, basically it's then just for each robot, it's work. It's not that you have just to adopt one model. Yeah, this little child still lives in me. As it seems. Somewhere. So, yeah, I hope so. Let's see. What could I do? I think I will drive a few manual laps on the dirt track for fun. Hold on. Then I need another car here. Yes, that sounds good. Should I take dirt 2 or dirt 3? Oh, we watched dirt 2. Let's take dirt 3. Ten laps to close the evening. Oof. Voilà. I'm almost dead. Shifted the brake bias a bit to the rear. Maybe even more. Oof. Yeah, shift brake bias. Do you see the bias thingy on the top left, the -12 currently? This thing. You can adjust this in your player settings, controls. Here, brake bias plus and minus. This is new since I don't know, did I introduce it on 138 or later? I think it was in 138. Yeah, because in race cars you can do this in some models. Yep, it's the same data structure. So basically you can build a robot which adjusts that turn by turn or so, like real drivers also do in extreme motor racing. I think, for example, the guys in Formula One and so they tune the brake balance all the time. So maybe that they change it. Maybe even for turn 1 they take that, and for turn 2 something else, and for turn 7 again something else. It's a kind of a click system. In the car definition is defined what the brake balance clicks means, if it's defined, otherwise it takes the default. And 1 click is just a 0.25%, so 4 clicks are 1%. And the default is that you can have plus minus 20 clicks. But you can adjust all of that. For example, if you want to disable the feature, you can say the range is plus minus 0 clicks, and then it does nothing, of course, because it just ignores it. No, it should be there and it should work. Because the human robot uses the complete normal command structure to transfer the command to the car simulation. So the human robot has no privileges or anything. It's just a bot like all the others. So I think that was great to introduce 139. Yeah, then I think I will call it a day for today. And thank you for joining and talking a bit. This was fun. Yeah, the human player is a robot like all the other one. It's the human DLL, and it uses the same interface and everything. What I thought about it, the robots are just evaluated 50 times a second, and because of input lag, I thought about giving the human robot an advantage that it is considered special in the sense that it may be sampled with 250 Hz instead of 50 like the others, that human players have less input lag. But yeah, this would be a small change. Yeah, sure. Yeah, then it's an SO. The concept is the same, don't worry. And the mechanism is also the same, it is dynamically loaded. But yes, basically the human player is a robot like every other robot. And also the simulation code does not treat the human thingy different than the robot. So everything is handled the same, apart from the skill mode. this has an impact, but in the race manager for the TRB races, there is a flag where you basically can say in the race manager that the robot cannot override his skill flag, and the normal robots are on semi-pro. But if you drive on semi-pro, you have basically everything identical like a normal robot. No special treatment or so, or different. Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, it lives also in the same directory in the source code structure. You just have to go to the human directory, and there is the whole thing. And instead of doing some fancy calculations or so, it just asks the input, which is configured, the keyboard, the mouse, the steering wheel, the gamepad, whatever is configured, reads these inputs and then fills the command structure from that. Yeah, so that was cool. Thank you very much, everybody. And I hope to see you another time, and I hope it will not take as long as it took, but yeah, life and work takes time, so no guarantees. We'll see. Thanks a lot, and hope to see you another time. Thank you for joining.